welcome back to Torment. Now let's talk to these fine folks right here. Near a display of goods that appear to be made of bloom flesh, either tanned, beaten, carved, or cured, stands an old man who looks sparely tanned, beaten, carved, and cured himself. He also has startling yellow eyes. "Hello," he exclaims, admiring my stock. "You won't find anything else like it, not even here in the bloom. All handcrafted and one of a kind." Some questions. Who wouldn't, when confronted with such unusual merchandise? Ask away. Can I ask you about the cyst at the edge of the platform? I mean, I've already dealt with it, but... He regards you with a squint. Whatever was in there was probably pretty dangerous, and now it's out, thanks to a certain someone who thought they knew better than the bloom. What exactly do you sell here? Bloom flesh, my friend. Bloom flesh. We craft everything out of it. Clothing, armor, building materials, jerky, you name it. The bloom cultists in particular love wrapping themselves in bloom flesh. But everybody buys from us, even the Murdens. You might say our business is blooming. He raises his eyebrow at you expectantly. Ha! His apprentice laughs. Good one, Sunderman. Thanks, Sunderman, says the older merchant. I liked it myself when I first heard it. What do you know about the bloom cultists? Got some odd notions, those folk. They worship the bloom as a deity and aren't afraid of being eaten. Shrugs. Crazy, of course. They're my best customers, so I just smile and nod when they natter on about it. And what do you think of the Murdens? Sunderman grimaces. Those hunchback beast faces will steal anything they can get their claws on. We sell close to them, and because of that, they mostly let us be. But I trust them as far as I can throw them, and I'd advise you to do likewise. Alright, well, let's see what you got. Bloom flesh armor. At the start of each turn, a tentacle latches onto a nearby enemy, does 6 transdimensional damage to the target, heals 6 points of health to the wearer. Wow, that is awesome freaking armor. It's really too heavy for me to wear. Well, I mean, I could wear it, but I'll stick with my Exuvia, but damn. Bloom Shard, light melee weapon. 3 physical damage, 4 chemical damage, plus 3 damage per effort applied. Would be a pretty good weapon for me, but I may mostly just use my Esoteries. Oh, not Kino. It is better than her Sonic Blade. Her Sonic Blade is pretty damn weak, as a matter of fact. Except it does give that sonic disruption. On critical hits, confer control. Forced to fight on the caster's side. Nice. This would be useful for her. I can't afford it right now, though. Unless I sell some stuff. What else we got? Blood Globe. 24 mental damage. Demoralized in case it's a grenade. Moss. Metabolism. Flesh blood. Bonded item. Artifact. Ooh. +1 speed edge. +1 damage per effort applied. Max +6 on esoteric attacks. -2 speed. So it's kind of similar to that other item I got, that ring I thought about giving to Eratis. I got rid of the some of the concentration it'd be useful for. Get rid of the negative effects. Does my king have concentration? She does not. Bryn has concentration, but she has no room. I have concentration. And I'm not using any bonded items. And it would give me 1 speed edge. What I don't get is the max +6 on esoteric attacks. Does that limit how much I can increase my esoteric attacks with using effort? Or is that a limit to how much bonus damage I can get on esoteric attacks? I think it limits my esoteric attack effort. My onslaught does +1 per effort applied to a max +6. So it doesn't do a whole lot anyway. Interesting. Well, I can't really afford the item right now anyway, so, but I can think about getting it later. This friendly-looking youth is dipping strips of cured bloom flesh into colored dye. He looks up at you as you approach, revealing startling yellow eyes, just like those of his employer. Hello, sir. Are you interested in our wares? They're handcrafted and one of a kind. You look an awful lot like your employer. Are you related? You noticed that. Well, you should talk to him. He gets a kick out of telling people about it. I admit, I like seeing the look on people's faces when he does. What sort of work are you doing? I'm Sutherland's apprentice. That means I do whatever he tells me, really. Mostly harvesting usable bloom flesh. It's always an adventure, flesh harvesting. Though my elder tells me I'll be going away on bigger adventures soon. He grins cheerfully. Can't wait. What do you sell here? You'll probably be interested in the specialty items and armors we craft from bloom flesh. But we also sell everyday stuff like clothes and building supplies. Everybody buys from us, even those, he shivers, those murders. Talk to my elder if you want to buy anything. Seems like you know the bloom pretty well. Are there any moths nearby? I know of one for sure in Shurgen Slum. Been there a really long time. I hear there's one in the old slate block too, but I don't go in there because of the murders, so I can't be sure. Isn't it dangerous to harvest bloom flesh? Not really. People only fear the bloom when they don't understand it. He puffs up his chest. I've lived here all my life and nothing's ever happened to me. Oh, but it will, youngster, chuckles the old merchant who stands beside the apprentice. It will. The younger man laughs uncomfortably. You keep saying that, but you won't say when. If I did, says the older man, you might try to avoid it. I know I would, if only to see what happens. Great, you should talk to my elder. He handles the actual trading. And for more I see, who could blame you? All our products are crafted from the most unique bloom flesh I can find. I couldn't help but notice that you and your apprentice look very much alike. Well spotted, well spotted, he grins widely, a twinkle in his eye. And why would you speculate that is, sir? I love telling this story. You'll never guess. Even time is not simple in this world. I think he is you. Ha! Well done. He claps you on the back. Not many people manage to figure that one out. Let me tell you what happened, or will happen if you like. Actually, that Aeon priest in the slum saw it too. Is it somehow more obvious than it used to be? One day soon, my younger self will be walking along when the bloom will open a maw beneath him, and he'll tumble into another world, years in the past. Or maybe the journey to the past will be when he tries to come back. Whatever the case, it'll take him many decades and worlds to travel back here. He smiles wistfully. I envy him the experiences he will have, but thank him for the memories. Doesn't knowing what will happen change the future? He frowns, puzzled. Why? I knew what was coming, but it hasn't changed my past. Sounds like a dangerous journey. Shouldn't you warn yourself? I did, but I didn't listen. He smiles affectionately at his younger self. Besides, when I think about all the stories I've filled my head with, it's hard to remember exactly what I said about when the big day is. He leans in close and whispers, but it's coming soon. Alright, well, thanks for your time. I could probably sell off some stuff to get the money to buy the artifact, but I might need that money to
that's something I can
rest. It's my number one priority right now. At first, you're not sure if your eyes are playing tricks on you. A semi-transparent man shuffles and struts before you, his body fading in and out of incorporeality. His once fine clothes have rotted away. His long beard looks to be host to any number of small vermin, and his eye sockets are disturbingly empty. She studies the man, mentally subtracting anatomy's features, and suddenly gives a sharp intake of breath. She whispers, Can it be? Can it be? No. He couldn't have survived. Somehow the man hones in directly on your face, and you have the unnerving feeling that he can see more than what's on the surface. The staring sockets are deep and cavernous, as if they contain depths and space beyond the confines of the skull. He says nothing to you. Matkina, who is this man? This is the old Memavira. Don't you see? This man knows all the secrets of the bloom. He was tied to it, bonded to it. I worked for him for years, alongside that bitch who occupies the position now. When he disappeared, she threw me out. I looked for him for a long time. She turns her attention to the bearded man. Sir? Sir, it's Matkina. You called me the White Death, remember? He turns his cavernous eye sockets to her, and they study her for a long time, considering. Life begins to seep into his face, and a small smile creeps across his lips. I think I remember, but memories are lost in the telling. He thinks again. Better to tell it now and have the story remembered. You say I am the old Memavira, so we must speak of the new to understand my tale. That face, so familiar. Memavira? Yes, and she my White Death. I remember. His lips part in a feral smile, and he grasps at the last memories in his mind. The new Memavira. Ha! What has she done worth mentioning? Who trembles at her voice? Tell me, who fears her step? Who among her people wouldn't slip a blade into her back? Oh, she did for me, it's true, her and her coterie. But I had loyal retainers to the end, loyalty and fear, like a fist. She may have taken my place, but she'll never match my rule. If the bloom hadn't turned against me after my decade in power, I'd still be there. But she dragged me to the heart of the beast and let it sift through my mind, fed it all my crimes, and then she left me there. He swallows. Ask your questions of me, while the fragments of memory still linger. Ask now, and make the questions count. Tell me about your reign as the Memavira. He smiles, a cruel thing almost lost in his beard. I lived my knife in my hand. I never lost my love for its kiss. I took what I wanted and I shared it with the best of my crew. But I had laws, mind you. Laws and strictures that kept the merchants pouring through the bloom. No sentence scaring off the easy meat. No need to be greedy. They said I was weak, but that was because they didn't know how strong I truly was. And that's why the bitch came from me. Too grasping, she was. Her face is more animated than you've ever seen it. Do you recall when we came down on the wreck quad and their trade in sense stealers? You plugged their leader into his own machine and the feedback melted his eyes, and the rest of them, you said something to the bloom and the floor wrapped around their ankles, and you had us go back to feed them for years until their legs atrophied away. Akina, my white death, is that you? I do remember that. He starts laughing, a hollow, ragged, terrible sound. A disused engine choked on pain. I remember that. You were magnificent that day. He turns back to you. Quick, ask another question. How did the new Memavira unseat you? She knew the bloom was angry with me. She told me she'd been below and had seen something that she thought might explain why I lost my bomb. I didn't know she'd hidden her killers around the bloom, or that she was the one who'd ruined shipments or driven off the citizen. She put her muscles into play, and I never even saw it, and she took me to the heart of the bloom. He swallows. When you went down, her thugs moved in. They killed everyone in the fortress who had sworn for you. They hunted us down in the belly of the bloom. They cast us through maws under unfamiliar suns. I fled into the city with a few of your lieutenants, and we had to kill some of our friends to get through the gates. And once we'd settled up in there, she started hunting us in the city too. She shakes her head. She cast aside years of tradition to hunt me. I'd have sworn loyalty when you died. Nothing you could have done. Nothing. She was bold and fast. What happened in the heart of the bloom? She brought me through a new maw, an entry to the heart I'd never seen. It was then that I knew what she intended, and we fought. But she was fast and strong, and I was old and drunk. She didn't kill me, though. Oh no. She wanted me to suffer for the crime of raising her up. She bound me there, and she stood above me and reveled in my pain, as the bloom sucked away everything that I was. I'll say this for her. She was better at malice than I ever was. Such excruciating pain. But that memory slips as well, thank the gods. So what do you think of the new Memavira? The memories slip, lights skittering down the tunnel. As I grab them, they go. No, his voice speaks. Stop. They're me. A look of pity crosses her face. She catches your gaze and she shakes her head and looks away. I know his pain, she says. I know. His socket stares into you for a moment while he considers. At last he shakes his head and says, I do not know. I have language and I have the memory of muscles, but I do not remember how I came by these truths. What I remember is waking in the depths of the bloom. I remember walking. I remember years of darkness before I emerged into the upper reaches at last. The bloom took me, but gave me peace in its place. You came from the depths of the bloom. What did you see down there? I imagine all these things are things I could ask of him if Matkina had not been with me. The other choices were only there because she's with me. And she was able to jog his memory a little bit. If I speak of them, the memories disappear from me forever. Yet thoughts themselves are ephemera. Like our lives, gone. And only those we choose to share have any hope of continuation. But even that memory is vanity. In a generation, who will remember these words? His socketless eyes look away and then back again. He smiles gently. Let me tell you what I saw. My memories are useless. Perhaps telling him will increase their life. The bloom reaches through dimensions and across realities. What did I see? I saw a vast beating heart. I traveled through skeins of the bloom's arteries and its viscera. I stood in open maws and looked out across alien landscapes where lost sailors mourn for home, or crystal fields glitter under distant stars. I walked through the slave block where the great Sheila staged the revolution. What would you know? Tell me at the heart. A great chamber, the place where the broom spawns and devours its voices, where its whispers gather in conclave, where its intelligence is strongest and sharpest. I woke there, and I knew it for my master. Dangerous. Not to me, not anymore, but so hungry. Tell me of the Bloom's Viscera. The Gullet, that is the name among the Bloom guides, a place of veins and flesh, where the memories of the Blooms chosen, where they are digested. Echoes wander the place, echoes of the Eden. He holds a hand up to his head as if pained. I recall stories of the abyss, the gates of Abaddon. The Gullet could be their source. Tell me about the sailors. Lascars, they call themselves, holding fast to their history because they fear they have been forgotten. Old luxury and cliff banisters are their prison bars. What about the slave block? Sheila was born there, not physically, but her legend. The first Memavira forces out this last word with an effort and a spray of intangible spittle, and wince on his face. She spoke to the bloom, and it answered her. The monument of her strength is a murder nest now. Memo, why is that word a struggle to recall? Yet it feels strong, right? I want to hear about the crystal fields. A great plateau whose towers bedazzle the eye. Lightning flickers among the towers. Strange silicate beings tunnel beneath the glassy surface. There have I watched children of stars and information speak to one another through dancing colors. Have you been to any of those places? No. I stand at the tip of the tendril and watch the landscape pass by as the great devourer prepares to latch itself to another world. Why would I ever step outside my host? I am without danger here. Each day another piece of myself slips away. Okay. By the Black Three, her voice is quiet, reverent. I never dreamed the power in this place. I could tame it, make its strength mine. Would you sacrifice centuries of life for a few years of this? You saw the price. You don't know the strength my boss had. I didn't know what he had. You could work wonders with that strength. You could destroy everyone who ever opposed you. But what you have to go through to get it, the price is perfect. You don't get it, do you? For a time, he was one of the most powerful people in the world, and few even knew who he was. He burned bright and fast, she considers. But you're right. If we survive this, it's a skis trade. Fine, you've convinced me. Let's make sure we stop the sorrow then, yeah? Come on, she bows to the old man. Farewell to you, sir.
Sure.
Oh, check this. An enormous statue of a woman wielding a hammer stands here. Its lower half lost the shadow in the depths of the room. So is this, Sheila and the Murdens are in there?
Why, of course.
I don't want to go in there just yet. I'm way too hurt. These three humanoids wear intricately carved armor that makes them look like undersea dwellers of legend. You cannot recall having seen the material from which they are shaped either. Though the suits are bulky, their wearers move with a strange and fluid grace. You might have mistaken them for monsters, but their leader is unhelmed and appears human. She has close-cropped hair, an angular face, and her jaw is clenched as if she were subconsciously chewing on a problem. As you approach, she gives you an irritated glance. You address the Jemadar Arechi. Speak what you need, or be gone.
I'll remember that.
Then she reconsiders her words. Ordinarily, hospitality is ours. Forgive this one. The maw to our anchorage has closed. She indicates the hideous tentacled mouth that lies dead in the center of the platform. Another way we must find. Have you word of open maws that lead to our station? She lowers her voice. Beseech you even, trapped here with the supplies we purchased for our compatriots. This world is getting to me, and the frustration of speaking in a foreign tongue. If you want me to help you, you'll need to answer some questions first. Her jaw clenches by the smallest fraction. Naturally, this one will seek to provide informative truth. How did you come to be trapped here? Left the anchorage where our ancestors have served for centuries, sought resupply as we have so many times before. Upon return, the way was closed. Again, she indicates the dead maw at her feet, worried now that comrades may suckle about us. Or worse, what if our ship returns while we are absent? No, that's too terrible a thought. Tell me about your anchorage. All the refuge we have ever known. We await that ship that will end our mission and take us home. Captain Janur commands us. If you find the maw and speak to her, perhaps she can tell you more. In a way, I suppose the anchorage is our home. After all, we have never known another. Where should I go to look for maws? This one hoped you would know. We are strangers here. Buying supplies is all we know, not hunting maws. She looks down at the dead maw on the platform. Here was the maw that led to our anchorage. Here it had been for many years, yet on our return, dead. Let's see what I can do.
Why not?
Well, first, before I leave this area, let's see what's over here. Another exit. Ink pop. This man is tall and gawkily thin. His wiry hair looks like an explosion of metal springs atop his head. He regards you with bright, feverish eyes that seem too large for their sockets and smiles. Even as he motions you closer, the man is scribbling words on a scrap of paper. He has fastened some sort of harness around his body. It holds a tiny writing tablet and inkwell so he can continue to write as he moves about. Dozens of scrawl-covered notes are stuck to his leathery robes. There is the one who will aid the devourer. I've heard rumors of one fitting your description, one who helps those in need. Help us, brother, he intones in a wet and breathy voice. We are extremities of the great devourer, and we beseech your aid to right a great wrong. Extremities of the great devourer? Bloom cultists. The fancy name doesn't make them any less crazy. You walk in the company of a heretic, I see. The awkward-looking man peers at Matkina and scribbles furiously on his paper. But heresy has its root in fear. Fear that chokes the ears and drowns out the voices of the great devourer. We do not hate the heretic. We pity her. The white one corrupts him. No matter. The wise will see reason. We are those who venerate the bloom as divine and seek to become a part of it, if it will have us. We are the only ones who can see that a great wrong has been done here. What sort of wrong? A terrible torment, he whispers, visited upon the bloom, our god. It is the work of Yaksu, the measurer and meddler, who dwells in that nodule of flesh. He raises his pen toward the house that sits on the other side of the platform, red and stinking and inflamed. Yaksu desires to understand the bloom, to quantify its impulses. This causes pain to our god. His eyes bulge even wider, and it occurs to you that you haven't once seen him blink. The evidence is clear for all to see, in the raw and swollen, fresh, of Yaksu's house. We have warned Yaksu to stop his pokings and proddings and measurings. But he will not listen. What methods are left to us? He lets the question hang in the air, an unspoken threat. Perhaps you can help him to change his mind. I can try to work out some kind of compromise at least. At the word compromise, his mouth twitches. Try, if you like, but blasphemers are loath to compromise. They are steeped in sin.
I'm making a note.
His face brightens and he pulls a handful of scribbled papers from his pocket and shoves them into your hands. Scriptures. Scriptures of the great devourer to inspire your thoughts and guide your words. Another tortured smile cuts across his face. From the pen of Inkpot, who is me. This handful of crumpled papers is covered with messy scrawl. They purport to be part of the canon of the Bloom cult, but they seem little more than incoherent ramblings of their author. The cult is named Inkpot. Most of the pages are covered with grimy fingerprints and thick, dried blotches of yellow phlegm. What are all those papers on your robes? Scriptures of the great devourer. They are ever-changing, in imitation of the Bloom. You see? He tears one of the scribbled papers from his robe, crumples it up, and tosses it over the side of the platform. Those words are gone, forgotten, but new ones can be added as we like. He takes a scrawled paper from the little writing desk that is strapped to his body, spits a wad of yellow phlegm onto its back, and sticks it to his robe. Now, these words are part of the canon. Can you tell me about your beliefs? I will not speak of beliefs, he frowns, but I will tell you what is true. First, that the Bloom is a god, the only true god, and all that takes place within its body is solid and real. That which exists outside the Bloom is an illusion, a cruel trick, a falsehood. Second, he intones, that our goal is to become one with the Bloom, to transform ourselves in living embodiments of its will, and one day to be called to its heart. To be called to the Bloom's heart, what does that mean? His eyes glisten. When it wants us, the Bloom will open a maw at our feet, or reveal a tunnel where one hadn't been before. The passage will close behind us, and we will never be seen again by human eyes, but we'll follow its turnings to the heart and be one with the devourer at last, and pray to no one ever again. What do you think of the Memavira? When her will was one of the Blooms, we revered her, but no more, frowns. She is no Memavira, not anymore, not to us. Another will be found in time. Her time is done. Soon the Bloom will take her as well. You think the Ninth World is an illusion? I know it is. The people of that world will try to tell you that life is not pain. They weave illusions and call them laws to protect the weak and poor and the ugly and malformed. But look closer and you see they lie. He spits a gob of yellow phlegm on the side of the platform. Only here in the Bloom is the horror of life revealed without pretense. Becoming one with the Bloom is our only hope for salvation. How do you plan to become one with the Bloom? We clothe ourselves in its flesh, feast on its bile and viscera. If we are lucky enough to hear its voice, we empty our minds and let it govern our actions and our thoughts. Its long, misshapen fingers clench and unclench. The devourer will only call us to its heart when its will is one with ours. One day I will hear the Bloom's voice clearly, not these vague whispers. I must not doubt it. Is it safe to drink the water from that pool? Better than safe. Those fluids are the holy secretions of the great devourer. To drink them is to put your mind in communion with the Bloom. He leans closer to you, and your eyes are drawn to the profusion of festering sores in his mouth. You can listen to its voice and know what it wants, for a time at least. Yeah.
Done.
I think I'll pass. The pool is filled with yellowish water. A wide area around the pool is wet, suggesting that people have been drinking the unpleasant fluid and possibly bathing in it too. Beneath the surface of the pool is a large reservoir of fluid. You can't see anything of interest in its depths. Yeah, I'm not going to drink any. Not right now, anyway.
Fine.
Okay, this takes me back to where I entered the area. Okay. Well, the walls of this dwelling are covered in papers with various threats and slurs written on them.
I am the very soul of action.
So we'll leave off here, and next time I'll go inside this house and speak with its inhabitant and see if I can work out a compromise. If not, if anything, I'll probably side with the inhabitant. Well, I gotta see what they have to say first, because these people out here, they're just stark raving crazy.